You know what's worse than being alone? It's spending your precious time on people who wouldn't even notice if you stopped showing up. People who take your kindness for granted, who disappear when you need them, and only remember you when they need something from you. Here's the hard truth. The more you give to people who don't care, the more you teach them that it's okay to treat you like you don't matter. And every moment you waste on them is a moment stolen from your own happiness, growth, and peace. In this video, we're going to talk about why it's time to stop pouring your energy into one-sided relationships. Why it's not your job to convince anyone to care. Why letting go isn't cold, it's necessary. Because the moment you stop wasting time on people who don't care, your life changes. You get your energy back, you get your confidence back, and most importantly, you make space for the people who will appreciate, value, and fight to keep you. Your time is priceless, so let's make sure you're not giving it to the wrong people. Your time is the most valuable currency you will ever own. More valuable than money, more valuable than possessions. Because once time is spent, it's gone forever. You cannot earn it back, you cannot store it, and you cannot replace it. Yet for reasons we often don't realize, we keep giving this priceless currency to people who do nothing but waste it. We give hours, days, even years to relationships, friendships, and connections that leave us feeling empty. We pour our energy into people who, if we stopped showing up tomorrow, wouldn't even notice we were gone. The truth is, not everyone deserves your time. Not everyone deserves your effort. And that's not about being selfish. It's about being wise. We live in a world where attention is the new gold. Everyone wants a piece of it. Some people want your attention because they value you, because they respect you, because they genuinely care about your well-being. Others want it because it benefits them, not because it benefits you. And here's the danger. If you don't guard your time, someone will waste it for you. They'll take as much as you give, without ever giving back. They'll let you keep showing up, keep calling, keep checking in, while they give you the bare minimum in return. But here's the wake-up call. Your time is your life. And when you waste it on people who don't care, you're not just losing minutes on the clock, you're losing pieces of yourself. Every hour you give to the wrong people is an hour stolen from the right people, the ones who will appreciate you, value you, and support you in return. We often think we can afford to keep giving because it's just time. But time is the only thing we run out of every single day. And once it's gone, it's gone. That's why the first step to living with purpose is to become intentional about where your time goes. You must treat your time like a treasure, not something to be handed to just anyone who asks for it. Because when you learn to protect it, you learn to protect yourself. In this journey, you will have to face a hard truth. Some people will not match the effort you give. They will not return your calls. They will not support you when you're low, and they will not celebrate you when you rise. And when you see that truth, you have a choice. Keep investing in what drains you, or start investing in what fuels you. If you want to live a meaningful life, you must stop wasting time on people who don't care. Because your time isn't just minutes on a clock. It's the story of your life being written, one choice at a time. Recognizing who truly cares. One of the most important skills you will ever develop in life is the ability to recognize who truly cares about you. Not who says they care, not who shows up only when it's convenient, but who actually values you in both word and action. Caring is not an occasional grand gesture, followed by long periods of silence. It's not just texting, "I'm here for you," when you're at your lowest, then disappearing when you're back on your feet. True care is consistent. It's present when life is exciting and when it's messy. The people who care about you don't just appear when they need something from you. They check in because they want to know you're okay, not because they want to borrow your time, your energy, or your resources. They remember the little details about your life. They notice when your tone is off, when your smile is forced, when you're carrying something heavy but haven't said a word. And here's a truth many people miss. Genuine care is often quiet. It doesn't always announce itself with loud declarations. It shows up in the small, consistent actions that say, "I see you, I hear you, I value you." It's the friend who stays on the phone with you until you fall asleep because they know your mind won't stop racing. It's the colleague who checks in on you after a tough meeting, not because it benefits them, but because they care about your well-being. It's the family member who notices your absence and asks how you've been without judgment or conditions. But to see who truly cares, you have to stop looking only at words and start watching actions. Words can be rehearsed. Actions reveal the truth. You'll notice that people who care will show up even when it's not convenient. They'll make space for you in their lives, even when they're busy. They'll remember to reach out, not because you asked them to, but because they were thinking about you. The danger is that when you don't pay attention, you can confuse convenience for care. You can find yourself investing deeply in people who only care when it fits their schedule, when it benefits them, or when they have nothing better to do. That's why you have to become a careful observer. Don't just ask, do they say they care? Ask, do they live like they care? When you recognize who truly cares, you can redirect your time and energy toward relationships that nourish you instead of draining you. You can let go of the people who keep you in a constant state of uncertainty. And most importantly, you can begin to build a circle of people who will walk beside you in both sunshine and storms. Because the truth is, life is too short to keep peas. The illusion of effort. Some people are experts at giving just enough to keep you around, but never enough to truly invest in you. They know exactly when to send a friendly message. They know how to say just the right words to make you think they care. They'll give you small crumbs of attention so you don't walk away, but they will never serve you a full meal of genuine commitment. This is the illusion of effort. It's not real care. It's a strategy, sometimes intentional and sometimes unconscious, to keep you in their orbit without ever truly valuing you. You've probably experienced it. The friend who disappears for months but suddenly reappears when they need a favor. The family member who only calls when they want to borrow money. The partner who only puts in extra effort when they sense you're about to leave. This pattern can be confusing because it creates moments where you think, see, they do care. But the reality is, they're not giving because they truly want to. They're giving because they don't want to lose the benefits of having you around. Real care is not occasional, it's consistent. The illusion of effort is inconsistent by design. It's like a faucet that turns on and off, keeping you thirsty enough to stay, but never truly quenched. Why do we fall for it? Because as humans, we're wired to hold on to hope. We take those small, rare moments of effort and magnify them in our minds, using them to justify staying in a situation where we are undervalued. We tell ourselves, maybe they're just busy. Maybe they're going through something. Maybe it's my fault for expecting too much. But here's the truth. If someone truly values you, they don't let weeks or months go by without showing it. They don't just show up when it benefits them. They don't only invest in you when they're afraid you might walk away. The illusion of effort is dangerous because use it keeps you stuck. It creates just enough hope to prevent you from letting go, yet never delivers enough care to truly make the relationship fulfilling. The only way to break free from this cycle is to step back and look at the bigger picture. Ask yourself, is their effort consistent? Or is it sporadic and self-serving? Do they show up for me only when they need something? Or do they also show up when I need them? When you stop being blinded by the illusion, you start to see the truth. And the truth will always set you free. Because once you recognize the difference between real effort and the illusion of it, you'll stop settling for crumbs. You'll realize your time, your energy, and your heart deserve nothing less than someone who chooses to be there every single day, not just when it's convenient for them. Why we stay too long. If we're honest, most of us have stayed too long in relationships, friendships, or connections that were draining us. We knew deep down that the other person didn't truly care. We felt the imbalance. We saw the lack of effort. And yet, we stayed. Why? One reason is hope. We convince ourselves that if we keep giving, eventually they'll start giving back. If we're more patient, more understanding, more forgiving, maybe they'll finally see our worth and treat us the way we deserve. But here's the hard truth. People don't change just because you love them harder. Real change comes from within them, not from the amount of energy you pour into them. Another reason we stay is fear. Fear of being alone, fear of starting over, fear of losing the familiar, Even if that familiar is hurting us, we think, what if I leave and no one else cares? What if I never find better? But that's how fear keeps us trapped. It convinces us that this is as good as it gets. There's also the investment factor. When you've given months or years to a relationship, it's painful to think that time might have been wasted. So you keep holding on, telling yourself you've come too far to walk away now. But time invested in the wrong person doesn't become more valuable the longer you stay. It just costs you more of your life. And sometimes we stay because we confuse attachment with love. We mistake habit for happiness. We believe that just because someone has been in our life for a long time, they must belong there forever. But not everyone who starts the journey with you is meant to finish it with you. We also stay because of our own hearts. Some of us are natural givers. We believe in loyalty. We pride ourselves on not giving up easily. And while those qualities are beautiful, they can also become the very chains that keep us tied to people who will never match our effort. The truth is, staying too long doesn't protect the relationship. It damages you. It erodes your self-worth. It teaches you to accept less than you deserve. And it sends a silent message to the other person that they can keep giving you the bare minimum and you'll still be there. At some point, you have to ask yourself, am I staying because this is healthy? Or am I staying because I'm afraid to let go? Walking away doesn't mean you didn't care. It means you cared about yourself enough to stop waiting for someone to become who they're never going to be. The cost of wasted time. Time is the most valuable resource you will ever have, and wasting it on people who don't care is one of the most expensive mistakes you can make. We often think the cost of these relationships is only emotional. We say, it hurts, but I'll get over it. But the truth is, the cost runs much deeper. When you spend months or years on someone who doesn't value you, you lose more than moments. You lose opportunities. Every hour spent chasing their attention is an hour you could have spent building your dreams, deepening relationships with people who care, or improving yourself. And once that time is gone, it's gone forever. The emotional cost is heavy too. Being around someone who doesn't care chips away at your self-esteem. It plants seeds of self-doubt. It makes you question your worth. You start wondering if maybe the problem is you. If maybe you're just not enough to deserve their effort. Over time, this mental weight can affect every area of your life. The physical cost is often overlooked. Constantly trying to earn someone's care can drain your energy, disrupt your sleep, and even impact your health. Your body feels the tension of being in one-sided relationships, even when your mind tries to brush it off. And then there's the spiritual cost. Wasting time on people who don't care distracts you from your purpose. It keeps you focused on fixing them instead of growing yourself. It pulls you away from the things that truly matter, leaving you feeling disconnected from your values and your goals. What makes this so dangerous is that the cost is often invisible at first. You think, it's not that bad, I can handle it. But just like a slow leak in a tire, the drain isn't obvious until one day you realize you've lost so much more than you thought. And here's the hardest part. Time spent on the wrong people is not just lost. Is stolen from the right people. While you were busy pouring your energy into someone who didn't care, you might have missed the chance to connect with those who would have valued you, supported you, and grown with you. The truth is, you can always earn more money, but you will never earn more time. That's why protecting it is not selfish, it's essential. Once you fully understand the cost of wasted time, you start to see relationships differently. You stop asking, do they like me? And start asking, are they worth my time? Because in the end, every moment you spend is an investment. And the people who don't care will always give you the lowest return. Actions over words. Words are easy. They cost nothing. They take seconds to say, and they can be crafted to sound exactly the way someone wants you to feel. That's why you can never measure someone's care by their words alone. Real care isn't spoken. It's shown. It's not about how many times someone says, I'm here for you. It's about how many times they actually show up when you need them. It's not about promises. It's about follow-through. And it's not about what they say in front of others. It's about what they do when no one is watching. If someone truly cares, you'll see it in their actions. They'll check in, not just when you post something sad online, but when you've been silent for a while. They'll remember the things you tell them, not because they're trying to impress you, but because they genuinely listen. They'll keep their word, even when it's inconvenient. On the other hand, some people become masters at saying all the right things. They'll tell you they care, that you matter, that they'll be there. But when it's time to prove it, they vanish. They always have an excuse, always a reason, always a next time. And yet, because they've said the words, you keep giving them another chance. This is why it's important to remember, actions never lie. You can fake interest for a while, but you cannot fake consistency. A person who values you will not have to be reminded to show up. They'll do it because it matters to them. When you start evaluating people by what they do, rather than what they say, you begin to see the truth more clearly. You'll notice that some people talk a lot, but give very little. Others may not talk much about caring, but their steady actions will speak volumes. And here's something crucial. Caring actions aren't always dramatic. They're often found in the small, everyday moments. Bringing you a coffee without being a sked. Sending you a message because you crossed their mind. Offering help without waiting for you to admit you're struggling. These things may seem small, but they are proof of where someone's heart really is. If you want to stop wasting time on people who don't care, stop being impressed by words alone. Words are cheap. Time, effort, and consistency are expensive, and people only spend them on what they truly value. So watch what people do, not what they say. If their actions don't match their words, believe the actions, because in the end, someone's behavior will tell you everything you need to know about where you stand in their life. This emotional drain is a warning sign. Your emotions are like the fuel in your life's engine. When you're around the right people, that fuel is replenished. You feel lighter, stronger, encouraged. But when you're around the wrong people, your emotional tank drains faster than you can fill it. One of the clearest signs you're spending time on someone who doesn't truly care is this. You leave interactions with them feeling worse, not better. You feel unappreciated, unseen, and undervalued. Your energy drops, your thoughts feel heavier, and you start questioning yourself more than you ever did before. This emotional drain doesn't usually happen all at once. It creeps in slowly. At first, you might just feel a little tired after seeing them. Then you start noticing you have to recover emotionally after every interaction. Eventually, you realize you're mentally preparing yourself before you even meet them, rehearsing conversations, bracing for criticism, or convincing yourself not to expect too much. That constant emotional exhaustion is your soul's way of sounding the alarm. It's telling you, something is wrong here. This connection is taking more from you than it's giving. Sometimes we ignore this warning because we don't want to believe it. We tell ourselves all relationships have ups and downs, or they're just going through a rough patch. But if you've been feeling drained for months or years, it's not a rough patch. It's the relationship's normal state. The right people in your life will still challenge you at times, but those challenges will help you grow, not make you feel smaller. They'll give you constructive feedback and love, not constant criticism disguised as being honest. They'll leave you feeling respected, not depleted. Here's something important to remember. Emotional drain affects more than just your feelings. It impacts your focus, your productivity, your motivation, and even your physical health. Stress from unhealthy connections can weaken your immune system, disrupt your sleep, and keep you in a constant state of tension. If someone consistently leaves you feeling heavy, anxious, or unworthy, you owe it to yourself to reevaluate how much access they have to your time and energy. This isn't about holding grudges or cutting people off at the first sign of difficulty. It's about recognizing patterns. Ask yourself, do I feel safe being myself around them? Do I feel heard and valued? Do I leave our conversations feeling stronger or smaller? Your answers will tell you everything you need to know. At the end of the day, relationships are supposed to be mutual exchanges of care, respect, and energy. If you're always the one giving and they're always the one taking, you're not in a relationship. You're in an emotional transaction that only benefits them. And that's the warning sign you can no longer afford to ignore. The self-worth connection. The way you allow others to treat you is a direct reflection of how you see yourself. If you believe you are valuable, you will set boundaries that protect your time, your energy, and your heart. If you struggle to see your worth, you may find yourself tolerating things you shouldn't, accepting crumbs when you deserve the whole meal. This is why self-worth is at the core of every healthy relationship. When you know who you are, you no longer feel the need to convince anyone to stay. You don't chase people who walk away. You don't bend over backward trying to prove you're worthy of love, attention, or respect, because you already know you are. Many of us fall into the trap of overgiving, thinking, if I just do more, they'll finally value me. But real value doesn't need to be earned through endless sacrifice. If someone can't see your worth as you are, no amount of extra effort will change that. In fact, the more you give without receiving in return, the more you teach them that they can keep taking without giving anything back. Self-worth shifts the balance. When you value yourself, you stop entertaining people who only show up when it's convenient for them. You stop being impressed by empty words and start looking for consistent actions. You stop accepting excuses as a substitute for effort. And here's the powerful truth. Self-worth isn't about arrogance. It's not about thinking you're better than anyone else. It's about recognizing that your time, energy, and heart are precious resources, and not everyone is entitled to them. When you have a strong sense of self-worth, rejection doesn't break you. It redirects you. You no longer see someone walking away as proof that you're not enough. You see it as proof that they were never meant to be part of your inner circle. The people who truly care about you will never make you feel like you have to earn your place in their life. They will meet you with the same energy you give. They will invest in you because they value you, not because you've proven yourself worthy of their time. If you've been giving too much to people who give too little, it's time to pause and look inward. Ask yourself, do I believe I deserve better? If the answer is yes, then it's time to start acting like it. Because when you finally know your worth, you stop wasting time trying to convince the wrong people to care. You understand that your energy is better spent building with those who see your value without needing a sales pitch. And that is when your circle becomes smaller, but infinitely stronger. Releasing the fantasy. One of the hardest truths to accept is this. Sometimes we're not in love with a person. We're in love with the idea of who we think they could be. We build a version of them in our minds that's kinder, more attentive, more loving than they've ever actually been. We take the few good moments we've shared and use them to paint over all the ways they've fallen short. We hold on, not to who they truly are, but to who we hope they will become. This is dangerous because it traps us in a cycle of waiting. We wait for them to grow. We wait for them to notice our effort. We wait for them to suddenly wake up and realize we've been there all along. But waiting for someone to become a different person is like planting a tree and hoping it will turn into a mountain. It's not going to happen. The truth is, people show us who they are every single day. Their actions, their priorities, their treatment of you, all of these are clues. And if who they are today isn't someone who values you, there's no guarantee that tomorrow will be any different. We hold on to the fantasy because it's comforting. The fantasy tells us that all our time and effort will eventually pay off. It tells us that our loyalty will be rewarded, that the love we give will come back to us in the end. But more often than not, the fantasy keeps us stuck in situations that are slowly draining us. Releasing the fantasy means accepting reality. It means seeing the person for who they are right now, not who they might be someday. It means asking yourself, if they never changed, would I still want to be here? For many, the honest answer is no. And that's okay. In fact, that's necessary. Because the sooner you release the fantasy, the sooner you free yourself to find relationships where you don't have to hope for more, because more is already there. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you hate them or wish them harm. It means you care about yourself enough to stop waiting for something that may never come. When you release the fantasy, you stop wasting time on potential and start investing in reality. You create space for people who don't just promise to care. They prove it every single day. And that's how you move from living in hope to living in truth. The power of distance. Distance is often misunderstood. When you pull back from someone who doesn't care, people may call you cold, selfish, or unforgiving. But the truth is, distance is not punishment, it's self-respect. When someone repeatedly shows you through their actions that they do not value your time, your effort, or your presence, Believing them is not cruelty, it's wisdom. Creating distance is your way of saying, I refuse to keep pouring into something that's empty. Here's what many don't realize. Distance isn't always about cutting people out entirely. Sometimes it's simply about adjusting the access they have to you. It means you stop sharing your deepest thoughts with someone who only half listens. It means you stop rearranging your life to fit into their schedule. It means you stop expecting care from someone who has shown they cannot give it. Distance protects your energy. It creates the space you need to heal, think clearly, and reconnect with yourself. When you're too close to someone who drains you, you can lose perspective. You can normalize neglect because you're living in it every day. Stepping back allows you to see the situation for what it really is. And here's the empowering part. Distance shifts the power back into your hands. As long as you're constantly available to people who don't care, you're teaching them that your time and attention are easy to take for granted. But when you step back, you send a silent but strong message. My presence is a privilege, not a guarantee. Some will notice the distance and make no effort to close it. And that's your answer. They were never truly invested in the first place. Others might realize they've been taking you for granted and start making an effort. Either way, distance reveals the truth. The challenge is that distance can feel uncomfortable at first. If you've been a giver all your life, pulling back may feel unnatural, even wrong. You might worry about hurting their feelings or being misunderstood. But remember, you are not responsible for managing how others react to your boundaries. You are responsible for protecting your own peace. And protecting your peace will require creating space from those who disrupt it. Distance isn't an act of anger. It's an act of clarity. It's not about shutting people out. It's about letting the right people in and keeping the wrong ones at arm's length. When you master the power of distance, you stop begging for a seat at someone else's table and start building your own. And the people who truly care will have no problem walking across that space to meet you where you are. Energy is finite. Your energy is not unlimited. It's not an endless river that can flow forever without running dry. It's more like a well, and every interaction you have either fills it or drains it. When you spend time with the right people, your energy feels renewed. You leave conversations feeling lighter, inspired, and stronger. But when you spend time on people who don't care, you leave feeling empty, depleted, and sometimes even resentful. Here's the truth. You cannot pour from an empty cup. No matter how much you want to give, if you keep giving to people who never give back, you will eventually run out. And when you run out, it's not just that relationship that suffers. Everything in your life feels the impact. Your work suffers. Your health suffers. Your ability to show up for those who do care suffers. Think of your energy like money. You have a daily budget. Every person you interact with is either a deposit or a withdrawal. Some people leave you richer, filling your account with joy, encouragement, and strength. Others leave you overdrawn, taking and taking until there's nothing left. The problem is when we don't realize our energy is finite, we allow the takers to drain us without limits. We think, it's just one more favor, or it's just one more conversation. But those just one more moments add up. Over time, they leave you feeling exhausted, unmotivated, and disconnected from yourself. This is why boundaries are not optional. They are essential. Boundaries are how you protect your energy budget. They are how you ensure that your limited supply is spent on people, projects, and passions that matter. Here's the good news. When you start protecting your energy, you start attracting better connections. The people who value you will respect your boundaries. They'll understand that you can't always be available, and they'll appreciate the times when you are. The people who only want to take from you will resist your boundaries, and that resistance will reveal exactly who they are. It's not selfish to protect your energy. It's not cold to limit your time with people who drain you. It's wise. Because the more you protect your energy, the more of it you'll have to invest in the people and things that truly matter. Your energy is your life force. Every time you spend it, you are shaping the quality of your life. So spend it like it matters, because it does. Don't waste it on people who don't care enough to give any back. Let actions teach you. One of the most freeing decisions you can make in life is to stop arguing with reality. And reality is always revealed through actions. If you want to know how someone truly feels about you, watch what they do, not what they say when they're trying to keep the peace, not what they post online to look good, not what they promise in the heat of the moment. Actions strip away all the performance and reveal the truth. A person who cares will show up consistently. They will call, not because they have to, but because they want to. They will make time for you, not just when it's convenient, but even when it requires sacrifice. Their actions will make you feel valued without you having to beg for their attention. On the other hand, a person who doesn't care will also show you through absence, through silence, through constant excuses. They'll say, "I've just been busy," but they're never too busy for the things and people they truly value. They'll promise to be there next time, but next time never seems to come. When you let actions teach you, you stop making excuses for people. You stop rewriting the story to protect your feelings. You stop holding on to potential and start acknowledging the pattern. Here's the thing. Patterns are powerful. One missed call means nothing. One broken promise could be a mistake. But if you're seeing the same behavior over and over again, that's not an accident. That's who they are choosing to be. The problem is, we often don't let actions teach us because the truth they reveal is uncomfortable. It's easier to believe someone cares than to accept that they don't. It's easier to hold on to hope than to face the pain of letting go. But ignoring the truth doesn't protect you. It keeps you stuck in the same cycle of disappointment. Letting actions teach you requires courage. It means believing what? But you see, even when you wish it weren't true, it means setting boundaries and making changes, even when it hurts. When you finally let actions speak louder than words, you free yourself from confusion. You stop chasing mixed signals. You stop waiting for someone to suddenly become consistent when they've never been. Instead, you use your time and energy on the people whose actions already prove their care. You learn to value effort, not empty promises. And that's when you stop wasting your life waiting for people to change, because the right people don't need to change for you to feel valued. They show you through their actions every single day. Walking away creates space. Walking away isn't just about leaving something behind. It's about making space for something better. When you keep your life filled with people who don't care, you leave no room for those who would value and appreciate you. Think of your life like a garden. Every relationship is a plant. Some plants give you fruit, shade, and beauty. Others choke the soil, stealing nutrients without giving anything back. If you keep watering the weeds, they will continue to grow, and the healthy plants will wither. The moment you pull out those weeds, you make room for stronger, healthier growth. It's the same with people. When you finally let go of the ones who drain you, you create emotional, mental, and even physical space for the right ones to enter. This is why walking away is not a loss. It's an upgrade. The problem is, we often hold on to the wrong people out of fear of emptiness. We think, if I let them go, I'll have no one. But that's not true. That temporary emptiness is just a space where better things are meant to grow. Yes, walking away is hard. It means breaking old habits, breaking emotional attachments, and sometimes breaking your own heart. But staying in a one-sided relationship breaks you in a slower, more painful way. It erodes your confidence, drains your energy, and teaches you to settle for less. When you walk away, you send a message to yourself. I deserve more than this. You also send a message to the universe, to God, to life itself. I am ready for better. And life has a way of honoring that decision. You'll start meeting people who see your worth without you having to prove it. Opportunities will come that you would have missed if your time and energy were still tied up in the wrong places. Walking away doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you hold bitterness or resentment. It simply means as you've chosen peace over chaos, clarity over confusion, and growth over stagnation. And here's the truth. The people who truly belong in your life will never require you to destroy yourself to keep them. They will match your effort. They will value your time. They will give without keeping score. So don't be afraid to create space. That empty space is not loneliness. It's freedom. It's possibility. It's the wide open field where something far more beautiful can take root. And the moment you stop wasting time on people who don't care, You finally have the capacity to invest in the ones who always will. Not everyone deserves access to you. One of the most important lessons you can learn in life is this: not everyone deserves access to you, your time, your energy, your presence. These are not things to be handed out freely to anyone who asks. They are valuable, and because they are valuable, they must be protected. Too often, we treat ourselves like we're an open door. Anyone can walk in, stay as long as they like, take what they want, and leave whenever they please. And when that happens, we end up drained, resentful, and wondering why we feel so empty. Here's the truth. You are not a public park. You are a private garden. Not everyone gets to walk through your gates. Only those who respect the space, nurture it, and add beauty to it should be allowed in. The problem is, many of us grew up believing that kindness means always being available. We think that saying no is rude or that setting boundaries means we're selfish. But boundaries aren't about pushing people away. They're about protecting your well-being so you can show up fully for the right people. When you give unlimited access to people who don't value you, you're teaching them that your time is cheap. And once they believe it's cheap, they'll treat it like it's disposable. Limiting access doesn't mean you're unkind. It means you've learned to be intentional about where your energy goes. It means you've decided that your life is not a free-for-all for people who only show up when it benefits them. This is where self-respect comes in. When you respect yourself, you naturally become more selective. You no longer let people come in and out of your life without proving that they deserve to be there. You don't just hand over your emotional resources to anyone who asks. They have to earn that trust. Think about it like this. If you owned a priceless piece of art, you wouldn't hang it in the street where anyone could grab it. You'd protect it, display it carefully, and only allow people to view it in the right setting. Why? Because it's valuable. You are no different. The moment you realize that not everyone deserves access to you is the moment you start to take your power back. You stop feeling guilty for protecting your space. You stop apologizing for saying no. And you stop wasting time on people who only want to take from you without giving anything in return. Because at the end of the day, your life is not a revolving door. It's a sacred space. And the fewer people you let in, the more peace, joy, and genuine connection you'll have with the ones who truly belong there. Choosing yourself is not selfish. Somewhere along the way, many of us were taught that putting ourselves first is selfish. That if we choose our own peace over someone else's comfort, we're being cold or uncaring. But that belief is one of the biggest reasons people stay stuck in relationships and friendships that drain them. Here's the truth. Choosing yourself is not selfish. It's necessary. When you put yourself last, you're not being noble. You're slowly erasing your own needs, your own dreams, and your own identity. And what's worse, you're teaching others that it's acceptable to overlook you. Over time, you become the person who is always there for everyone else, but has no one truly there for them. Choosing yourself means setting boundaries, even if others don't like them. It means walking away from people who only take and never give, even if they accuse you of being different or cold. It means valuing your time and mental health so much that you refuse to let them be consumed by people who don't care. Think about it like this. When you're on an airplane, they tell you to put on your own oxygen mask first before helping anyone else. Why? Because if you can't breathe, you can't help anyone. Life is the same way. If you don't take care of yourself first, you'll eventually burn out and have nothing left to give. Choosing yourself also means making decisions that are aligned with your growth, even if it means disappointing people who want you to stay the same. It means prioritizing relationships that pour into you, not just drain you. It means spending your limited time and energy on things that bring you joy, purpose, and peace. And yes, sometimes when you choose yourself, people will leave. They'll say you've changed. They'll try to guilt you into going back to the way things were, the way that benefited them more than it benefited you. Let's HEM talk. The people who truly care about you will never resent you for taking care of yourself. When you choose yourself, you're not shutting people out. You're simply making sure that the people who stay in your life are those who bring value, respect, and genuine care. It's not selfish to want peace. It's not selfish to want mutual effort. It's not selfish to expect respect. So stop apologizing for putting yourself first. The more you choose yourself, the more you attract the right people, the ones who see your value without needing to take advantage of it. Because the truth is, when you choose yourself, you're not only protecting your own life, you're creating a life that's worth living. Peace of mind is the goal. At the end of the day, what are we really chasing? Success? Love? Approval? If you dig deep enough, you'll realize that everything we want ultimately points to one thing: peace of mind. Peace of mind is the quiet confidence that you are living in alignment with your values. It's the deep exhale after you've removed the constant noise, drama, and negativity from your life. It's waking up without that heavy feeling in your chest, without replaying yesterday's arguments, without dreading tomorrow's interactions. When you spend time on people who don't care, your peace is the first thing to suffer. You lie awake at night wondering what you did wrong. You replay conversations in your head, trying to find the moment where things went off track. You exhaust yourself trying to fix something that was never yours to fix in the first place. Peace of mind comes when you stop trying to force care from those who have none to give. It comes when you accept people for who they are, not who you wish they were. It comes when you release the relationships that keep you in a constant state of doubt, tension, and emotional exhaustion. Here's the thing. Peace doesn't come from avoiding conflict at all costs. True peace comes from knowing that the people around you are genuine, supportive, and aligned with your well-being. It comes from having boundaries that protect you, and from knowing that you can walk away from anyone who threatens your mental and emotional stability. When you let go of people who don't care, you're not just removing a source of pain, you're clearing space for calm. You're freeing up mental energy to focus on things that truly matter. You're giving yourself permission to enjoy your own company without constantly feeling the need to earn someone's approval. And peace of mind is worth more than any relationship that costs you or sanity. Because no amount of companionship, attention, or history is worth sacrificing your inner stability. Once you taste true peace, you'll never want to go back to the chaos you used to tolerate. You'll start guarding it fiercely. You'll become more selective about who you allow into your life. And you'll stop apologizing for removing people who can't handle your boundaries. At the end of it all, peace of mind is not just the goal. It's the reward for choosing yourself, valuing your time, and refusing to waste it on people who don't care. It's what makes all the difficult goodbyes worth it. Because when you have peace, you have everything. Moving forward with intention. Once you've recognized the signs, set boundaries, and made the decision to stop wasting time on people who don't care, the question becomes, what now? This is where intention comes in. Moving forward with intention means living your life on purpose. It means deciding where your time, energy, and love will go, and making sure they're only invested in people and things that give back to you in healthy, meaningful ways. It starts with clarity. Ask yourself, who in my life genuinely values me? Which relationships leave me feeling seen, heard, and respected? Where do I feel drained, ignored, or undervalued? Your answers will reveal where to invest and where to withdraw. From there, you create a vision for the type of connections you want. Maybe it's deep friendships built on trust. Maybe it's a romantic relationship that feels like partnership, not competition. Maybe it's simply more time with yourself, focusing on personal growth. Moving forward with intention also means replacing old habits with new ones. If you've been used to chasing people's attention, you now redirect that energy toward those who naturally give it. If you've been settling for one-sided relationships, you start seeking mutual ones, where effort, respect, and care flow both ways. But here's the truth, living with intention requires discipline. It means saying no to what doesn't align, even when it's tempting. It means not going back to unhealthy relationships just because they feel familiar. It means being patient enough to wait for the right people instead of filling the void with anyone who comes along. It also means consistently checking in with yourself. Are you living in alignment with your values, or have you slipped back into old patterns? Are you giving your time to people who have earned it, or are you letting convenience dictate your connect-ions? The beauty of moving forward with intention is that it transforms not just your relationships, but your entire life. Your days become filled with people who inspire you instead of drain you. Your energy is preserved for projects and goals that matter. Your mind is free from the constant stress of wondering where you stand with someone. When you live intentionally, you no longer wait for people to prove they care. You already know they do, because their actions make it clear. And as a result, you feel lighter, stronger, and more in control of your life. So as you move forward, remember this: your time is precious, your energy is limited, and your love is valuable. Spend them wisely. Only invest in people who treat your presence like the gift it truly is. Because the moment you start living with intention, you stop wasting your life on those who never deserved it in the first place.